Hi guys, welcome to the Music B&B. My name is Callum Jane. Today I'm starting what I hope to be a compilation, a series of videos reacting to John Lennon. Now, anyone who knows me will ask,
who's your favourite Beatle?
I'm a Paul guy, and I'll be like, I love Paul. Paul's my favourite. Paul? You know Paul? Paul's the best Beatle. I love Paul. 4 years or so, I've got heavy into the Beatles, listening to the Beatles, all the audiobooks I possibly can on the history of the Beatles. I just need to do a Ringo Starr one. Sorry, Ringo, left you till last. That's always been the case, hasn't it? I listened through Paul McCartney's discography. Very interesting discography. Didn't like all of it. Liked a lot of it, though. I have tried, occasionally, to dip into John's music. Obviously, I know the famous ones. I've tried dipping in, and nothing could stick, so I gave up, one song in. But I'm going to try and listen through all of this, the discography, starting with Unfinished Music #1, Two Virgins. Now, this album cover didn't actually look like this. So I'm just going to give you a short background about it, and let's go into it. I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you know a lot of this. But anyway, in May 1968, John Lennon invited Yoko to his home studio at Kenwood. And together they recorded Unfinished Music Volume 1, or #1, Two Virgins. The album was born out of an all-night creative session, but they blended experimental sound collages, tape loops, and vocal improvisations. Oh, I'm going to struggle, aren't I? It marked the first time the pair worked closely as artists, cementing their bond both musically and romantically. The infamous nude cover photo, shot the morning after their recording session, symbolized their vulnerability and their defiance of societal norms. Despite its avant-garde nature, the album faced heavy backlash, with some retailers refusing to stock it due to the artwork. It tended to be sold in paper bags, like they would do with the top shelf magazines of yore. So yeah, that's why on this album cover you see here, it's just an outline of the two of them, and it says Two Virgins at the bottom. So anyway, to prepare myself for listening, I'm going to get in the mindset of John. So I'm going to put on my John glasses. Let's go. I already hate this.
It's very hard making them yourself because you've got to superimpose and then...
This is over half an hour of music. I'm not gonna just sit here for all of it. I'll cut to the parts where I might be talking. More interesting for you. Also, I don't get a copyright strike. So it's a loop of whistling. Sounds like the Moomins. Sounds like I'm listening to the Moomins, but in a dream world. In a scary dream world. Thing is, right, this might be a bit weird, but you've got to imagine, it's the 70s. Most music that has ever been recorded just sounded like songs, yeah? There was none of this experimentation as of such by any super popular people out there. So this experimentation was mind-blowing back then. People would have listened to this and been like, how is it possible they're making all these sounds, and trying to pick apart how it's done? To do tape loops, to mess with the speed of a tape, slow it down, to have loops even. It was just craziness. So to us it just sounds like, oh, we've heard so much experimental music. We've grown up listening to all kinds of music. This is just madness. I mean, people would have found it madness back then. This wouldn't have been enjoyable. But it's also, from a sound engineering point of view, quite impressive. Quite incredible. Just kind of waiting for something more cohesive to come along. I wonder if they ever listen back to this, just casually, shall we stick this on tonight? Listen to something I really enjoy. Let's put this back on. It's amazing. I mean, the amount of drugs they were on, this might have been very enjoyable. I don't know if it's heroin at this point. It might have just been LSD. This is 1968. This is even, I think, before the Beatles split up. Yeah. So, doing Beatles. And also this madness. Oh, we've got some music. Yoko just wailing. I'm going to be expecting a lot more of that, aren't I? Yeah. Got to prepare myself for wailing and shouting. Oh my word. I'll never get why John, like, heard all this that Yoko would do and thought, yep, that's it. That's the one. Someone who used to love Elvis and was like, yeah, she's the one. And was so adamant that she was like this unheard artist, the world's most famous unknown artist. Thinking this, like, that she could make it. Like, she was obviously very out there, and there are people who absolutely love Yoko's work, don't get me wrong, but how did Paul, George, and Ringo cope being around this? This is how I chose to spend my Sunday. My Sunday is this. I wonder, let me know in the comments, is there anyone who, like, chooses to listen to this unironically again after hearing it one time? Like, is this anyone's, like, most played song of the year? Does this come up on their Spotify Wrapped and it's the top song? If you're that person, please send me proof of that. I don't get why this is called unfinished music. Like, they had plans? Like, what's the plan to turn this into something amazing? Like, are these just the building blocks and we've got to assemble it? Okay. We made it to the end of side 1. Will side 2 provide any differences? The differences in plays, stream-wise. 2 versions, side 1, 145,269 plays on Spotify. Side 2, 56,000. People just gave up after the first one. I think they got the idea. They could be missing out on gold. Side 2 is going to bring it now. It's going to be some absolute tunes. What's interesting is they spent time in the room together making this, and then they had the courtship parts. No red flags appeared during this session from either side. They're like, this is green flags all the way. Well done. Great session. I'm just ready for this to end. I know there's better John Lennon stuff out there. Okay? I know there is. So this session happened while John's wife at the time, Cynthia Lennon, was on holiday in Greece. He left his wife to do this. Apparently, weirdly enough, this failed to chart in the UK. Reached number 124 in the US. And it was followed 6 months later, because of the rousing success of the first one, by Unfinished Music Volume 2, number 2, Life with the Lions. The series was an attempt by the pair to keep a record of their life together. So, shortly after the release as well, John, in an interview, said that he believed the album can change people as others have changed my head just with their records. So he thought this might change people. I'm hoping after this, I come out different person. So they only made Relations after this was made. John at the time didn't realise he was in love with Yoko until after the record was made. So this was a date. So apparently it took Lennon 6 months to persuade his band members to agree to the release of the album, And despite not approving the front cover, Paul McCartney was asked to provide a note for it which read, "When two great saints meet, it is a humbling experience. The long battles to prove he was a saint." In the UK, McCartney's quote and the album title were placed on its back cover. I bet McCartney he loved that. I bet he loved it. What is this? Okay, so there's not too much really else to say about this. Yeah. There is a bonus track called Remember Love. It's only 4 minutes long, so don't worry. We've done the main bulk of it. If I recommend you guys listen to something electronic that is about 15-minute tracks, that would actually be enjoyable. Timeland by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. That's a really good kind of use of the 2 LP sides. Great electronic music. Do go check it out. Not sponsored. Let's go to Remember Love. Let's see if this is an actual song. It's an actual song. Yoko singing. This is really sweet, actually. This is a bonus track. Was this actually on the original? Yeah. This is beautiful. Can they just do stuff like this? It's really sweet. Okay, actually, this was on a reissue on the 3rd of June 1997 under the observation of Yoko with an additional bonus. Oh, no. Ignore me. Okay, so actually, the original was split into many tracks. So 2 versions side 1 was 2 versions, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There were 10 2 versions tracks. They just blended seamlessly together. So that's why I think on Spotify it's just 2 tracks, except for Remember Love. Yoko wrote this. It was actually recorded somewhere else, not in the same place that the rest of the stuff was recorded. It's a beautiful song. Really like it. Other than when you can hear her swallowing, she's like, I kind of want to learn this on guitar and play it, but like me version. I think maybe the issue with John's solo career is it's kind of plastered with absolute chaos in between some really nice gems. So I think as I'm going through this, I'm going to be like finding these little gems within the madness. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Kind of like worried about the amount of time I'm going to be wasting listening to stuff that I'm going to struggle with, but interesting first experience. Dreading the next video, which I might try and do next week, is Unfinished Music number 2, Life with the Lions. I want to see if it'll be any different to this one. On this channel, we also react to independent music, so if you want to hear something that isn't the most popular stuff out there, then do check out this channel. I do reaction to popular music and independent music. And remember, in a world where everyone wants to be heard and no one's doing the listening, be the one that does the listening. Goodbye, I guess.
Bye, ladies and gentlemen.